we've been doing setup for 30 minutes. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a segment. I don't know. We're going to have to name all of these. We're going to be
It's called marketing tips.
We're going to take our long rambling talks and we're going to smash it down into tips that you can take and apply to your business.
But that doesn't include the intro.
No. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics that we've worked on. It's actually a topic that's in your book that's not ready for everybody to see yet. Why do we talk about avatars are dead?
Yeah, this is the beginning. If like the rest of the marketing tips and marketing knowledge that you can get really is meaningless if you don't get this right.
So I'm going to put out to you the bullet points. So I have bullet points. We're going to go through this.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that most businesses that we know of are doing this wrong. Can I intro that? And it's not because they're not trying. It's just they haven't graduated yet. So I kind of wanted to say, so avatars, when you did that, when most business owners hear of that, like this is a exercise, creating your avatar, your ideal client profile, your ICP is something that I know that we practiced in college. That was many years ago. We won't talk about you. But it's an exercise when you want to think about proposing and creating a business, who would you serve, right?
Yeah, right.
It's a good exercise.
Right.
It's important. But the key point of that is it's an exercise for a non-existent or non-successful company. Business owners we know today have clients, right? They have real clients.
Yeah. So explain to me, what is it that makes it an unsuccessful strategy when you say that? You should say unpack that a little bit.
Okay. So, and this is one of my other bullet points on an avatar, an ICP, they're not real.
Right.
They're not real people, right? That's the definition of an avatar, right? Like you should pull that up. Like, what is the definition of an avatar? They are not real people. They are dead, literally. Like they're dead. So when we say the avatars are dead, we want to start to get people's minds going on. The exercise should not be what an ongoing successful business owner should be practicing. If you did that, if you checked the box, uncheck it, because now you should graduate onto going deeper into, and we're going to talk about the tips on this, but a real or an avatar, an ICP are not real people. They're not real clients that you have dealt with. I don't want to give the next tip away just yet, but do you have something to add on that?
Yeah, I think, I love avatars are dead, but the truth is they were never alive to begin with. And the problem is even though it makes sense to take all this data that we have and bring it together, aggregate it into like these digestible statistics, those digestible statistics don't create an ideal customer. They might give you insight about people. You might learn something from them, but when you try to turn that into this aggregate customer or avatar, what you get is something that isn't representative of the people that actually do business with you. And I think it causes you to probably miss out on the parts of the exercise of studying your clients that are most valuable.
Yeah. So I've seen this done two ways. One, I have seen let's just sit at a table. Let's map it out. Let's you and I write down who we want to serve, right? And we give that profile that we build out a name, right? And I think, and this is one of the tips on here, why this is wrong, why business owners get this wrong, is then it is you and I creating that person. It is through our filter, our beliefs, our desires, that person is created. We are projecting through us.
Right.
And there are things that we think differently, right? You and I think differently.
Yeah.
So, gosh darn it, our clients not going to have different thought processes and why they buy and how they buy and what they prefer and what they go through. If we pretend to know what that person is thinking, it's not real. It's not really real. So I've seen that done, the exercise done like that. And then I've also seen the exercise done, as you were talking about, an aggregate. So it's like, okay, my ideal client is someone in the middle range income. They have 2 kids. They just bought a house. They have 4.2 kids, and they have 1.5 animals. Who has 1.5 animals? Or point kid. They drive, newer cars. We've seen that data. And actually, I will always go back to that moment that we were working with a client and did our client exercise, and it was like the light bulb went off.
Mm-hmm.
And she had spent, and I don't know how much money, but she had handed us, before we even started, all of her data, the demographics that a company had put together on their ideal client.
Right.
And there wasn't that one nugget that when it clicked, the light bulb that went off, and she was just like, like dumbfounded of like that. All that data didn't show her what she needed, because the reality is that aggregate client, all that data, all the demographics, wasn't really going to help her connect to real ideal clients. And so when we went through her real clients, her living, breathing, very successful clients, the light bulb went off.
Right. Yeah. It kind of goes back to that. What happens when you create avatars is you lose the essence of what makes a person. And a lot of the data that you gather or come up with, it misses the insights, the pieces that might actually make a difference. Something they thought, something they felt, a real example of a challenge they face. And it's so what you apply is kind of based on fiction rather than something that's real. But like, let's switch the conversation, talk a little bit about ideal clients. On the flip side is, I think that will color in a little bit.
Yeah, so that's where I wanted to go to. Okay, so we've told you why it's wrong to use avatars and ICPs. And I've, this starts with ICPs. They're kind of getting closer. Okay, so we're going to tell you what to do. And the reality is this is free. This is a free asset the business owners are sitting on and ignoring today, right? Like,
right.
There's gold to be had in their marketing, and they're spending all this money to get all this information, and they're missing this. So the first step is to identify, write on a sheet of paper, write on a whiteboard. That's what we like to do. Who are your top clients that you have worked with, right? Who are the best ones that you make money with? They like to spend money with you. You help solve their problem. You have a product or service that solves their problem, their success. They rave reviews about you. We call it the pain in the butt factor, cringe factor. When they call, you don't cringe. You're excited to talk to them. Who are those top 10, 15, whatever clients you want? That's the first thing, the first step to doing this the right way. The next step. Do you have anything to cite on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that, like you said, it's important to consider a few factors when you look at top clients. Really the first one is sorting by spend, sorting by, a good client is a client that does business with you. And
Make
obviously
money.
the more they do business with you, the more often they do business with you, like that should carry a lot of weight. I think the other thing that you want to consider in this is looking at what offers they take advantage of. There's, I guess, pretty good chance your business does more than one thing. I run into very few businesses that really focus on a single thing. Not a conversation for today, whether that's good, bad, or otherwise. So I think it's kind of getting some idea of that. Also kind of understanding how profitable it is. One thing I do see is, in my experience serving businesses, is I've seen many businesses where their top client, who, if you look at the revenue they generate, is by far the biggest. When you weigh that against the profitability of that revenue, it might be very low. And so the business spends a tremendous amount of time working with a client, takes lots of their people, lots of their resources for next to no profit. So just consider some of the, filtering the information that you get. So it's like, most profitable clients. I think that's the first thing. And then how easy are they to do business with? Because again, I know many businesses that the top client is the one that runs them around to death. And you need to weigh that in.
Yeah.
Because what you're looking for here, and I think it helps to know the outcome, is you're looking for the type of clients you would want to multiply.
Yeah.
When you're evaluating this. So it's not just money. You don't just want to multiply money. You want to multiply profitability, ease. Are they a referral source? I mean, those things all should be considered when you're coming up with what are your top clients
and what you enjoy doing, and you're solving the problem. So I think you build out this list, right? That's step one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You go through, and then I think step two is after you kind of build that list and you do the evaluation of, we want to multiply. Who do we want to multiply at this? You need to go through. Typically, we guide this process. Let's talk about who are they? How did you find them? How did they find you? Who referred you to them or them to you? What do they have in common? What's the size of their business? What's the size of their teams? We just put as many things out there as you can to describe that client. Like build a profile of them.
Yeah, and just to add a couple of things to your list, what things did they say to you when they first interacted with you or your salesperson or your marketing team? What were they saying? What did they respond to? What made them call? What problem did they have? What were they looking for? The more color you can give this, what did that process look like? How long did it take?
Yeah.
What did they buy first? Did it go from one thing? Did they maybe start with one service and then they graduated to another? And you start to get this like depth of how the best clients do business with you.
And I'm willing to bet when you do this, and it's like a half day exercise, right? Like
you need to spend
should
some time with it.
doing this. You will likely find a hidden gem in there that you didn't realize, right?
Yeah,
There's something in there that's like the aha moment. That's like, because your goal in all of this is going to be, how do I find more of these people? Or how do I connect with more of these people? Or how do I talk to, like, what are we offering the right product? Are we talking about it right? You're going to find the gold in there, whatever the difficulty is. So step one, you got to make a list of those people and identify them, your real clients. Step two is you've got to kind of go through and really depth color in the details about your interactions with them and you and your product.
And last piece here, make sure to take the time that if in your business, you weren't the person that talked to them initially, make sure you're asking the people who have interacted with them at different places. Maybe it's like there's a salesperson that interacted with them on the front end, and then there's the person who goes out and actually services the client. Make sure you're getting if you're going to do the internal part, make sure you're getting it from different points of view inside your company. That will bring much more color to it as well.
Yes.
And then I know where you're headed with this.
So,
I'm excited.
but don't stop there.
No.
Right?
No.
Remember that what we talked about, the reason why avatars are dead, why they're not real people, and it's really a figment of our imagination, what we project onto them.
Right.
We can't do that to our clients either. So the gold that we have is at our disposal is these people are your clients. You need to get insights from them, from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
You got to do the next part, which is you're a real business owner. You want to make more of these people. It is worth your time, or, one of the people. And I know people that hire out. We have a friend, Jeannie, and she does this for companies, right? Like she has an extensive insight research program that she does for companies. And so the next step is either you or a representative of your company needs to sit down with these ideal clients and have a chit chat with them. Get some insights. There are some recommendations, like don't say, hey, what don't you like about us? Right? There's a roundabout. There's better ways to say it. Like, what bugs you about the industry?
Yeah.
Like, what are the frustrations that you have in this industry? What aren't people solving? Don't make it about you, because they're not going to tell you, oh, this is what I don't like about you, right?
Yeah.
But they can uncover things. They can tell you things. Why did you interact with us? Why do you like working with us? Why, what's your favorite thing? What do you tell other people? Like, how do we solve your problem? Get as much insight from that client about their problem, their frustrations, their point of view, right? How do they go about making buying decisions? This is a big one. Did they research before on their own? Did they watch some YouTube videos? Did they listen to podcasts? Because guess what? If they do those things, if they belong to associations, go to events, read magazines, whatever it is that they do where they get their industry information from, people like them are likely in the same place.
Absolutely. And ask them, what is your biggest strength? What is their favorite thing about working about you? You know, it's so much better to invest in improving our strengths than trying to fix our weaknesses, and lean into those things. And there's a good chance that there's things that your customers like about you that you're not thinking about. And that may be because, you just naturally devalue it, or it's just something that comes so natural for you that you don't think about it. So it may not be what you think is the most valuable thing. Because I think that's the part, is we're learning all of this stuff tells us so much. I would pay really close attention to the words they use, because those words may not be your words, but their words are the ones they will hear, and that people like them will hear as well. In my opinion,
Okay.
every dollar you invest into this is worth 100 advertising dollars.
More. I would say more. I don't think that, and this is why I say, so it's like you're a successful business owner, and I think we call it what, level 2 is where you get past that, you break through that million is kind of what level did you put that in the?
Oh, stage 2 business.
Stage 2 business. Sorry, levels in my head. So you're stage 2 business, right?
This is an issue with the book, is that there's stages and levels, and they're not all mine. So go ahead.
So stage 2 business is also defined in Ready, Fire, Aim.
That's where it comes from. I
Okay.
reference it in the book.
Okay.
But yeah, stage 2 business, it's when a business reaches $1 million or has more than 7-ish employees.
Right. So obviously they're out grinding level 1 or stage 1, or out grinding, learning the business, learning the basics, doing that stuff. Stage 2 and going through, we see a lot of business owners hit ceilings and then they just do another business. They can't figure out how to go to the next. This is something that they can do.
Yeah.
They can do it with their team, and they don't have to hire a professional like Jeannie,
Right.
or ourselves. Like we do this, we really focus on content, where Jeannie goes into a little bit more business strategy. You don't necessarily have to hire somebody. I think it's definitely worth the money to have someone guide you through it and to see with perspective that you don't.
Yeah.
But-
Client insights, and just I want to frame this because I think you kind of got into it before you framed it, is it is the place where you get the answers on what's next for my business. Like every business owner I know is always thinking like, all right, what's the next product we should have? What's the next service we should do? What's the next place we should go? They're always like, what's next? And there's always this like, this buffet of things that they know that could be done out there, and they all seem kind of good. Your clients are going to be the ones that tell you the right decision.
Yeah.
This is where you mine that. So sorry, I just want to frame that.
I would say, and to frame this, I think we have several guides and I think the internal part of this, I think that could be handled anywhere from like $5,000 on to all the way, if you had somebody work with you to do the insights and collect the insights, maybe $40,000-$50,000 for a program. And for a business that's looking to jump several millions of dollars in revenue, like, how is that not a no-brainer? Like, for real, these exercises to get this kind of insight, it's every marketing dollar that you spend, every advertising dollar that you spend, product development. It's just everything should go through this filter.
Yeah. Even how you service your products.
Yeah.
When you reach out to your clients, like the things you can learn from this. What's important though? And did you want to go further, or can I kind of sum?
No, I think those are my bullets.
Let me sum up, because this is really, really important. Do it in the right steps, because who you gather insights from needs to be calculated, and you need to go into it knowing this is the client I want insights from. Because if you start, this is why I said, be careful. Is it a profitable client? Is it a client that makes you happy? Is it a client that caused you a lot of work?
We have a visitor.
We do. It's okay. It's only somewhat hiding my face.
Well, hold on. Wait. Just pause because it could be.
Can you
have
get
to
out?
move.
Can you get out? The door's open for you to get out.
He doesn't like something.
I know. Why don't you sit somewhere that's not in the camera view? Shoo. Get down, and then we'll give you attention. Go. Go.
Okay.
You got rejected.
Okay.
So this is so important that you do things in the right order. Because if you came to this exercise with the wrong client selected, you're going to figure out how to multiply your pains. And we want to multiply the success. We want to multiply the right things, right? So if we go to the client, it's like you find that client who sends you $1 million. And I know this, businesses that are doing $3 million, $1 million will come from one client who just keeps 3 other people busy all the time. But they look at the books and they're like, this isn't profitable at all. It just takes all my resources. If you go to this client to get your insights, you're going to multiply more of that. And that's a very hard way to grow. So do it in the right order, right? So you start by building the list thoughtfully, then doing the internal insights, then going to that select 5 or 10 clients who the nuggets you draw from them, you can feel confident are leading you in the right direction. Like I just want to say that because it's so key that you don't just be like, well, I'm just going to, why would I do all that other stuff? Spend a half a day doing that when I just pick some clients and...
No. It's important now. And I'll also caveat, we do know several business owners that have different, let's call them divisions. And it's okay to break this down with client within that division or product line or service line, right? So like, for example, we just worked with a company who has a commercial versus a residential.
Right.
You obviously, the residential is not going to spend as much money as the commercial. Right. And if you intend to do both, service both, then yes, you can do do this exercise for commercial and then do this exercise for residential.
Right.
So, I mean, that's okay. You don't have to just say, well, they're not, because I know that could be a trip up. So I want to caveat that. But the key to this is you need to graduate. You know, you're not a stage 1 business anymore. You're not a startup. You're not in college. Avatars, ICPs that aren't real, right? That's a term that's thrown around in the marketing world. Those are for people who are trying to figure it out at the beginning. You guys are successful. You're trying to look through breaking through the barrier that's in front of you, whether it's $1 million, 3 million, 10 million, 15, whatever your goal is to grow for the next year. This is at your disposal. Do not ignore this. So that's why I would say most business owners get it wrong. They checked the box. They thought they were good. You know, they went through the exercise. They may go through the exercise again, but they didn't realize that it was based on their bias, their thoughts. They didn't go get real client insight, or maybe they went and talked to clients that weren't the ones they want to multiply.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 parts to it: internal, then client insights, interviews, put it together. Gold is brought out of that. And of course, you need to go through the data when you're done.
Yeah.
With your team.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to resist all of the angst inside of me to re-wrap up what you just said, because you did a great job. And yeah, so comment below, like, have you been through an avatar exercise, an ICP? Have you ever done any ideal client work? What did you hear in this? And you're like, that was kind of confusing. Can you guys explain something again? Like, please drop that in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Done.